Hi and welcome to my BMW r1100r. So as you all know, these bikes pretty run rich on the mixture, and normally suds up your spark plugs, and you get a lot of soot coming out of the exhaust itself when you've been riding, and you normally do find a small black dribble running down the back here. I've always had this problem with my bike, and I've balanced the injectors several times, got it spot on, I've got to say, every time with no problems, and even altered the I can't actually remember what this piece is called now anyway, but you guys will. So I've altered it, got it running a lot more smoother, not so sooty, but it still began to soot up, and I thought to myself, what's going on? So anyway, this is just my idea. I probably wouldn't recommend it to you guys. You've got to take your own risk if you do this, because what you're creating is the engine to run a little bit more leaner and not so rich on the fuel mixtures. Anyway, it's probably not enough to burn out your valves or burn a hole in your piston, but at the end of the day, I've done 124 miles. The engine itself hasn't overheated in any signs, and performance of the bike has definitely gained. It's a lot more smoother riding, a lot more responsive, and I've got to say that I have actually probably gained 40 miles plus on fuel consumption. This bike will average at 150 miles before the fuel light comes on, and you've got to stop, drop some fuel in her. And yeah, I mean, I've done X amount of miles the weekend for riding, and I've still virtually got a full tank of petrol, which I'm really pleased about, on how the performance has changed it. So what have I done? This is what I had before. All it is a piece of plastic tubing with a screw at the end to block it off, because originally you would have had on your nipple at the bottom of the injector a rubber seal, basically like a rubber nipple to go over the nipple itself, to stop dirt, rain, dust, anything from sucking up inside it. So it's that what I've changed. Okay, so this was the old one. If you did do this right, you're going to find that you didn't bother to go out and buy the rubber seals, the rubber nipple seals to put on there, and you've lost them. So you come up with an idea, a bit of plastic tubing, block it off with a screw, and hey presto, it does the job, physically does do the job. So I'll put this one to the side, get rid of that. What I did, I thought, nice piece of piping again. That's what gauge you'll be looking at, so it's a nice tight fit so it don't fall off, and put a screw at the bottom. And then I've got a small, let's pick it up so I can show you a bit better, a needle like that. And then what I've done, it's up to you guys if you want to do this or not. Don't take my word for it, because I don't want you to say, and blimey, you've just blew my engine up or made it run that lean that it's knocked the piston out the side of the engine. You've got to put a small little tiny pin prick through the tubing, only on one side, don't go all the way through it, just the one side. So just go in a little bit like that, just enough so you can see it stick through, and then pull it back out. So what leaves then is a tiny little pin prick, and then you cut it down to size for what you want and put the screw back in. For example, like this. So here's the one I made. I don't know whether or not you can see that. So there's my new tube. put a screw at the bottom, put a small tiny little hole in it. I don't know whether you can just see that, I don't know. Right, just through a little tiny pinprick hole, that's all you require on both sides of the engine. Now keep in mind, right, your engine will have like a dull sound, and that's what you'll hear. So when you do this, I would probably call it a hack, if that's what you wanted to call it. I don't know, right? So when I've done this, it made the engine tune just slightly more mellow than more of a thudding noise. So now the engine's kind of mellow. You don't get that much shaking through your handlebars, even if you do. Well, I do a little bit before I did do this. And yeah, like I said, you tune your engine all up properly. Make sure it's balanced either side of the engine, so you know one piston's not working harder than the other. We all know how to do that. And I've come up with this, like I said, little pipe, little tiny pin prick straight through it, screw at the bottom. That there has made this engine run a little bit lean, not too much, but a little. And I have increased at least 40 miles plus tank range on this bike itself. So I reckon I could do 200 miles actually on this bike running now. So I will be definitely trying that out sooner or later, and see how far I can actually go on a tank of petrol now. So if you like what I've done, subscribe, like, and also definitely leave me a comment on what you think and what you feel about doing. It's up to me at the end of the day whether I did blow this engine up by running it lean, but up to now I have checked the spark plugs and they've came out pretty nice. They're not sooted up as bad as they used to be, and I've also found I haven't got no black soot sitting on the back end of the exhaust. So keep my fingers crossed that this bike is running much better. Fuel consumption is great, acceleration even better than it ever used to be. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and thanks for your time. Thanks very much. Bye.